Thank you for your time with us today.
It's my pleasure having you.
Make I just start by asking this question. You don't see Ñnamdi Kanu?
Yes, I met him yesterday for almost 3 hours at the headquarters of the DSS in Abuja. And we had quite an interaction, private interaction initially. And later on, he was interviewed by 3 DSS officers in my presence. I wanted to call it an interrogation, but they said no, it's an interview, during which they asked him routine questions. But most of the questions centered on his being the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and the activities of that organization. So he answered the questions in a relaxed atmosphere, with bearing in mind his constitutional rights not to incriminate himself. Of course, some of the questions had background information that he considered incomplete, and he told the officers that he was not able to answer some of those questions because the information that they supplied to him was incomplete.
If you describe to us when you see Ñnamdi Kanu, how he be, what is in state of mind?
Well, his state of mind wasn't as sound as it should be. You know, if you listen to his broadcast, you would know that he's a historian. But when I was talking with him, he had trouble recalling the actual date he was abducted. It surprised me. So to jog his memory, I asked him how many nights he spent in Abuja before he was brought to court. He told me 2 nights. So he was brought to court on Tuesday, the 29th June. So we figured he must have been brought into the country on Sunday, the 27th. So when I mentioned that date, he said, sure, that's the date. But I took particular note of that. I also noticed that he had a visible injury on his right wrist. I asked him what it was. He said it was where they had chained him, put the chain on him, and chained him to the concrete floor in Nairobi, Kenya. And he has disappearing injury on the left wrist and an injury right here at the nape of the neck. He appears like somebody who has been mentally traumatized, so he's unwilling to talk about one or two things until you prompt him. Like when I prompted him about the date, that's the conclusion I drew. How many nights he spent in Abuja? No, he's not. He's traumatized.
You could tell us more about what happened, because you just mentioned Kenya, and Kenyan government don't come out to talk, say, they're not arresting Ñnamdi Kanu for Kenya. So tell us more about
this. What happened is this. Ñnamdi Kanu entered Kenya, I believe, on a certain date, right around April this year. I'm not sure. I'm trying to establish the actual date of entry. But I have documentation from a Kenyan hospital that placed him in Kenya as of 14th April this year, 14th May. So he entered Kenya.
And what did he do for the Kenya hospital?
He went there because he had issues with his heart. He felt he wasn't well. So he went there, he was examined, and the diagnosis was hypertension and heart murmur. They made prescriptions for him, and my examination of the medical report indicated medications for heart and controlling blood pressure. So apparently he entered Kenya before the 14th May this year. So he had settled in at the location in Nairobi, temporary location, and he entered with his passport. That day, on the fateful day, that was on I believe on the 19th, yes, not believe, certain, 100%, he drove himself to the airport from his temporary location in Kenya. He drove to Jomo Kenyatta International and went into the garage, the underground garage, to pick up a visitor flying in from outside. Okay, that is not necessary for this discussion, the identity or whatever. So the moment he got into the parking lot, the garage, a group of several men well armed to the teeth.
And this now waiting Ñnamdi Kanu tell you about everything you remember of waiting happened before they bring down to Nigeria.
This is what he told me, and his recollection of this was very, very lucid and clear.
Tell us about
it. Yeah, so now they swooped on very physical, rough way, and he raised the land. Luckily for him, there were a few people that were there, and the people wanted to intervene in terms of really very aggressive intervention, because to them, I asked him why they would consider making an aggressive intervention when something that seemed law enforcement was happening. He said perhaps they didn't believe it was normal. So the people that were abducting him told everybody to stay clear, that this person you're looking at is a Nigerian terrorist who assists the Al-Shabaab terrorists in Kenya. They grabbed him, put him in their car, and left, and took him to a private residence, not an official detention facility, where they chained him to the floor. For most of the 8 days he spent there, and they really tortured him.
My dear viewers, you have listened to a comprehensive information concerning the real abduction of Mazi Ñnamdi Kanu. This information you just gotten right now is directly from Mazi Ñnamdi Kanu, direct lawyer, legal lawyer. That's Mazi Ejimako. Yes, in fact, that is a comprehensive information. In fact, it did not only expose Nigeria and Kenya, but it made us to know that this is exactly what actually took Ñnamdi Kanu to Kenya. See, all the while some persons keep, flouting fake information that Ñnamdi Kanu actually went to Kenya for business transaction. A business is supposed to delegate to someone or one of his subordinates. So because of greed, he chose to go by himself for the business. Some persons are saying that Mazi Ñnamdi Kanu has gone to Kenya to go and collect some money which was promised to him by some sponsors of IPOP. Keep on carrying and flouting fake information. Look at the very reason that took Mazi Ñnamdi Kanu to Kenya. Oh my God, they are wicked, staunchly wicked in this country. Nigeria cannot go forward with this kind of ways of life. This administration actually came in because they want to fight corruption, but then they end up becoming the chief practitioner of corruption. Someone went to Kenya for checkup, for a checkup, and they have to compromise with Kenya and get Mazi Ñnamdi Kanu captured and extradited. Kenya deserve a punishment. Oh, I'm happy that they are involved. At least this will teach some African countries some lessons. Yes, that they shouldn't be compromising or be having any dubious business to do with Nigerian government. You see that? Yeah, that's something. So my people in the house, let me hear from you. Let me know what you really have to say about this very issue. If you're new, click on the red subscribe buttons as well as the bell buttons to get updated each time we upload any new videos. Thank you.